boy up for King of the Ring. You know that, don't you?
Xavier Woods.
Xavier. They're trying to set him up since he's the only one that hasn't won a belt.
Yeah,
They trying to set him up.
I'm hoping so, man. I hope he beats Finn tomorrow. But don't see. I was surprised he beat Jinder Mahal, and Jinder Mahal is kind of trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch all of it, but I did see. I saw him setting up Xavier Wood though.
Mhm. I just saw the highlights on YouTube.
And what's her name was done wrong though. Bianca Belair was done wrong.
What happened to her?
What's her name? Flair got disqualified for bringing a chair into the. That's wrong.
Oh, come on, man.
That's a good match up until then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that back up then. See if I can find that on YouTube.
All right. Let me get rid of all these probability distributions.
I got to meet Ric Flair.
I'm sorry, say again.
I said I got to meet Ric Flair.
Did you?
Oh,
yeah. Nice. I worked at Walmart.
He didn't hit on you, did he?
No, I would have been like, "You're my grandpa's age," but
it don't matter to him.
I know. I was like, I've never seen someone that has suntanned so much or bleached their hair so much.
Oh yeah.
But it was cool.
Do you know that I have read that he was adopted?
Really?
And that he never knew who his family was? Now, wow. I don't know if that's true or not. But
he was very friendly, though.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that. But that's very interesting. I think he's got a very interesting story behind him. But
I have to look it up. I haven't ever put much thought into it.
I would say he would go. He's going down as probably one of the most famous wrestlers, with the Undertaker and Hulk Hogan and Harley Race and Dusty Rhodes. He's probably right there among the top 5. It's just entertainment. All right, here we go. I think we started this question, but I don't know. I can't remember. I've got everybody's tests lining up about the same. So I've been covering problems in 109, 120, and all of them are kind of running together. So I'm kind of forgetting what I go over. All right. So this one is 8x squared. We do not have an x term, so I got to put that in. Minus 4x to the 0. So all of those are accounted for. And 3, 2, 1, 0, all of those are accounted for. So we just got to add that one term. So that's 24x to the 3rd plus 72x squared minus 12x to the 1st minus 36x to the 0. Now you don't have to add those. You don't have to add. I'm trying to show you something. I'm trying to show you what I showed you that day. We went over long division. That all the place values 2, 1, 0, and 3, 2, 1, 0. They're all there. And what decides that? Well, there's 2 numbers that decides that. The leading term, which is this term right here, because it's to the 2nd power, and the leading term right here to the 3rd power. So this one's to the 2nd power, 2, 1, 0. 3rd power, 3, 2, 1, 0. All place values have to be accounted for under the leading coefficient or leading term. Okay, so where is my kite? My kite is right here, and here is the tail. So I'm not worried about the tail, because the tail will follow the kite. All I'm worried about is that 8x squared right there. So I'm going to start dividing. How many times will 8x squared go into 24x to the third? That means I want y'all to communicate. I want y'all to say something.
3x.
3x. I appreciate you going out on the limb like that. I really do. Thank you. 3x times 8x squared is 24x to the third. 3x times 0x is 0x second, because that's to the first power. And 3x times negative 4 is negative 12x to the first. You always subtract, so that's going to make this guy negative, make this guy negative, and make this guy a positive. And that first column always goes out. 72 minus 0 is 72. 12x plus negative 12x plus 12x is 0x. And the negative 36 comes down to help out. Now somebody tell me how many times 8x squared will go into 72x squared.
9 times.
9 times 8x squared is 72. I believe we did this, but I think we were in a hurry. 9 times 0 is 0x to the first, and 9 times negative 4 is negative 36x to the 0. You always subtract. That's going to be a negative. That's going to be a negative. That's going to be a positive. This always goes out. And by our luck, this goes out also. This goes out also. So we have a 0 remainder. So your answer is 3x plus 9. And I think I told you after we did this problem that this is the type test question I would ask you, a 3-term and a 4-term, because that's enough. I mean, to be honest with you, if you can do this one, you can do one that's smaller, and you can do one that's larger. You just keep going. But this is a good test question because it's kind of in the middle. And I don't do a lot of long division questions. I just want to make sure you can do it. I don't need to know if you can do 15 of them. I just need to know if you can do 1 or 2 of them on the test. Okay. So that's that question. And let me remind everybody that a lot of this test is the calculator. And that's the good thing about the videos. The videos, you can watch how I do things on the calculator, and if you don't understand them, you can what? Rewind it. I had to remind my 109s that the other day. My 109s were acting all, quirky, because they were fixing to do their test. And if your test and their test is kind of alike, and they were worried about the calculator. I said, well, look, I show you how to do things on the calculator. All you gotta do is watch the dadgum videos. They don't want to do that. That's extra what? Work. That's extra work. They don't want to do that. Sorry, I didn't turn my video on. That's stuff. All right, so there's questions. Don't go telling my 109 students that I was talking about them. Somebody's going to. Might as well. All right, so here's the test. Let's go over the test. Mr. Vogt probably knows somebody in there. He's probably going to go tell them.
I love the bonus questions on the test.
What'd you say?
I love the bonus questions on the test. They're most of the other answers are just funny.
Well, I took them off some of the tests. Well, you want me to take them off this test?
No,
Yeah.
they're fine.
Okay. Now, I
No,
took
leave
them off.
them.
Some of the other, see, this is the only class that communicates with me. The rest of the classes, they don't talk. It's just like tits on a bull, or like the girl that orders a salad and a carrot stick with water. It's just, everybody just sits there like this. It's so frustrating. All
I
right.
actually met someone who was in your 109
What?
class. I said I actually met someone who was in your 109 class.
Did you?
I
Well,
was,
don't tell them I talked about them.
Yep.
What'd they say about the class?
I was making. She said she liked it. She's a she works at the People's Bank down on
Oh,
Clifton
Miss
Boulevard.
Ray.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
sir. Sorry.
Miss Ray,
I,
she's not one of those students that she if she has a question, she asks it. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
When does homework terminate? Toward the end of the unit. Next. Okay, there we go. There's your long division question. I'll write it down for you. Nothing's missing in the bottom. X squared, x to the first, x to the 0, so it's okay. So x squared minus 4x minus 3 into x to the fourth, 3x. Okay, nothing's missing. Darn, I need to take this one out and put one in that's got missing terms. X to the fourth minus 3x cubed minus 11x squared plus 13x plus 36. And there we go. So here's our kite. And there's our tail. And somebody tell me how many times x squared will go into x to the fourth.
Twice. Should be x squared.
X squared. X squared times x squared is x to the fourth. X squared times negative 4x to the first is negative 4x to the third. X squared times negative 3x to the 0 is negative 3x squared. You always subtract. So that's going to make this a negative. It's going to make this a positive. Going to make this a positive. This always goes out. That's what's supposed to happen. Negative 3x to the third plus 4x to the third is 1x to the third. Negative 11 plus 3 is 8. Somebody help me out there. Negative 8. And 13x helps out. Now, how many times will x squared go into x to the third?
X.
And x times x squared is x to the third. X times 4x is negative 4x to the second. And x times negative 3 is negative 3x to the first. Always subtract. Makes that a negative, makes that a positive, makes that a positive. That goes out. That's supposed to happen. Negative x plus 4 is negative 4x squared. 13 plus 3 is 16x. And 36 comes down to help out. Now be careful here. How many times will x squared go into negative 4x squared?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. And I'm going to take my handy dandy highlighter and I'm going to highlight that negative because that's what's going to get you on this. You got to ask yourself, how many times will x squared go into negative 4x squared? Negative 4 times. That's what you have to do. Because if you don't put a negative right here, the whole problem's wrong. And you've done 90% of it right. So negative 4 times x squared is negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. And -4 times -3 is negative or positive 12. You always subtract. That makes this a positive, makes this a negative, makes this a negative. That always goes out. So does this one. And 36 minus 12 is 24 remainder. Now you can write this two different ways. You can write the answer as x squared plus x minus 4 with a remainder of 24. Or you can write it x squared plus x minus 4 plus, and put a comma there if you want to, 24 over x squared minus 4x minus 3. Those are your two possible ways of writing the answer. Now let's see what the question says. I believe it's this one. X to the third, x squared plus x minus 4, 24 over x squared. Yay! Next. All right. This one is, okay, which one of the graphs is that of a function whose range is not negative infinity to positive infinity? So which one is not opposite directions?
B.
B.
Probably.
Good job. Remember, opposite directions means you got an arrowhead on this end and you got an arrowhead on this end. So the opposite directions is going to be all real numbers. All real numbers, all real numbers, all real numbers. This one is from negative 120 something to infinity. So this one is not all real numbers. Whose range is not all real numbers. This one is 120 to infinity. This one is in negative infinity to positive infinity. Negative infinity to positive infinity. Negative infinity to positive infinity. Next. Now, you're going to see about half this test is real easy questions. You only did 2 sections of homework. This is this is a catch-up, real easy test. Overall grade. Email him, let's see, his cell phone. Why does Schubert not entertain extra credit questions at the end of the semester? Because he awards me extra points for questions like these on each test, and he drops the lowest 2 grades on every single test. Do y'all know I have a class, I'm not going to mention which one it is. I have one class that everybody took the test one time, and I had about 5 of those students make below a C. Y'all with me? They can take the test 3 times.
That's insane.
Why?
Yeah. All of them took it one time, and there's 5 or more students less than a C. They didn't take it a second time or a third time. They're too lazy.
Then they
But
deserve
want
their
$15
grade.
an hour. What?
Then they deserve the grade they got.
Exactly. Then Mom and Daddy didn't like that midterm grade. So, of course, what did the students do? Blame the teacher, saying that I didn't give them time to take the tests. Of course, when I told the one parent that called, I said, well, he had a week to take it, and he had 3 attempts. I take the highest grade. He went, oh, is that right? I said, yeah. I said, I give all my classes, I give them a week to take the test online, 5 to 7 days, depending on if it falls on a weekend or not. And I said, I take the highest grade out of 3 attempts. Your son only took it 1 time. Thank you. I'm sorry I wasted your time. Yes, sir.
Yeah, if my parents, I mean, my parents would probably never call a professor, but if they would, and you said that they'd probably do the same thing. Like, my parents would be mad at me, as they should be.
You know, there's an old saying that says the truth will set you free. Well, if you're in Hubert's class, you better tell your parents the truth, because I've got so many safeguards. You're not gonna, it's not gonna turn out good for you if you're gonna lie to your parents. All right. Test grade, lowest test grade. No way, no how. I do not drop any. I don't replace any grades. That's extra work,
One of the
and I don't think it's right.
One
What?
of the girls in my nursing cohort, we graduated last semester, said that, oh, well, if you have Hubert, there's literally no way you can't get an A in the class.
There's no way. But, and the thing is that you actually learn something. But I have students that make 27s. I have students that make 35s. They're gonna start a revolution.
But somehow they
make
still
a ham
manage it.
sandwich. What?
But somehow they still manage it.
It blows my mind. Well, you got people that can break an anvil with a banana, so, and some of y'all don't even know what an anvil is. Okay, what does zeros do to your grade? Decrease it. Okay, a student does not complete, they get a 0. Okay, here we go. It is not apparent from the standard viewing window whether the graph of the quadratic function intersects the x-axis. You can't see it. Okay, experiment with various windows to determine the number of x-intercepts. If there are x-intercepts, give the value. Now you could do this by completing the square, or you could do it, since it is decimals, with the quadratic formula, but they want you to do it with the calculator. So handy dandy calculator. And I'm going to write it out so I can make the calculator big so everybody can see it. Let's see, y is equal to x squared plus 7.9x plus 15.6025. So here we go. I'm going to clear everything, because some students don't like it when there's a bunch of junk on here, and I understand. Clear and clear. There we go. All right, so y is equal. Now this is one of those times on the video where, you know, you don't know how to use calculator, because I had to tell the 109 students this. Watch the videos and rewind it. Y is equal to x squared, well, would be, there we go, x squared plus 7.9x plus 15.6025. And graph. Always hit zoom standard and zoom fit. Always do that first. And I like zoom standard better, so I'm going to do zoom standard. And now I'm going to use zoom box, because I like to use zoom box. And if you don't, then that's just up to you. And put your left-hand corner right about there, hit enter. And there you go. And hit enter. I'm going to do it one more time. Zoom box. I don't use the window. And some of y'all were raised, you know, using your calculator in high school and everything, use the window. I don't use the window. I just use the box. So I'll show you what the box says after I pull it up. Okay?
Yeah,
And
I
enter.
was taught how to use the box or the window, but I like the box a lot better.
To me, yeah, the
It's
box,
like you do.
it's a whole lot faster and you got more control over it. I'm going to blow it up one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like it's crossing at 2 places. I'm going to blow it up one more time. There it is. It looks like it's crossing at 2 places. So I'm going to hit second trace, 0. And I think one of the intercepts is over here. Okay, there's left. And there's right. And there's the center. Okay, it says not detecting the sign change. All right, then I need to do it again. And hit second trace. And hit 0. Maybe I need to give it another search parameter. Let's go from there to there. Maybe sitting on it. Let me just go to here. And maybe it's just sitting on it. If it's sitting on it, it'll be in the middle right here. Yep, it's sitting on it. So negative 3.95. Negative 3.95 is your, it's only got one x-intercept. There it is. So again, that is a test question right there. You didn't have to do anything, no math. You just did it on a calculator. It takes the highest grade and drops the lowest 2. Okay, here we go. Somebody tell me, what is this? Is this an odd or an even function?
Odd.
Odd.
So which one is it? It's negative 2. So there's the parent graph. So is it this one or is it D?
D.
Delta.
D.
Why is it not Bravo or Alpha? Alpha or
Those are-
Bravo is what?
It's exponent's odd.
Okay, the exponent here is odd. B and A is even. Now we covered that. Again, no math. Communication is key. Okay, you may want to use the property. You don't use the calculator. Okay, divide this expression. Oh, this is one of those easy divides. You don't have to use long division. 7x to the 5th minus x to the 4th over 9x to the 4th. Well, the only thing you can do is factor out x to the 4th. X to the 4th, that's going to give you 7x minus 1 over x to the 4th times 9. And what happens to the x to the 4ths? They cancel, and you're left with 7x minus 1 over 9. That could be 7/9 x minus 1/9 also. So delta Okay, so far we've done a long division problem that had math in it, and this one that had a little bit of algebra or math, whatever you want to call it. So out of 14 questions, we've had 2 questions that we had to do actual algebra or math. All right, which one is it? Same question. I need to take this one off. C is in Charlie. I didn't know I gave you overlapping questions. Maybe I need to take some of them off. The only one with United States. 3 people missed this question on the last test. Only one that equals 100. All right. A comprehensive graph of polynomial y is equal to f of x, or f of x is right here. How many zeros does this function have? How many x-intercepts does this function have?
1.
1. So far, just 2 questions. All right, here's another one. I'm going to let y'all do this one. I'm going to write it down for you. I'm going to let y'all do this one. 10x to the 6th minus 20x to the 4th over 5x squared. Now, this one you can do a little bit more. All right, give you a minute. All right, so what can you factor out of all 3?
5 and x squared.
Good. And that's going to give you 2x to the 4th minus 4x to the 0, and 5x squared leaves 1. So cancel those out.
Should the 4 not have a x squared as well?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Thank you. I was thinking we factored out x to the 4th. I'm sorry. 2x to the 4th minus 4x squared. Now, you could factor something out of here. I'm going to put or 2x squared times x squared. That'd be 2x squared, sorry. 2x squared minus 1 or 2. No, be x squared. X squared minus 2. Either one of those. Okay, so far we've had 4 questions that we've actually used some algebra. 2x to the 4th minus 4x squared. Charlie. Determine a window that will provide a comprehensive graph for this polynomial function. All right, I'm going to write it out so you can see it because I can't make it bigger. So y is equal to pi x to the 3rd minus 9x squared plus 26. I can tell you right now what it's going to look like. It's going to look some kind of saddle with a y-intercept of 26. So it's going to look something like this or something like this, depending on what side it's on. So let's go ahead and so y is equal. Let me let you write it down first. There you go. While you're writing it down and graphing it, I'm going to get you something to drink. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do an insert right here. So second insert, second caret symbol, which has got pi right over it. And I'm going to change that to a third. Minus 9. So I'm going to just delete this. Delete, delete. 9x squared. Second insert. Squared. Plus 26. All right, there's the problem. Hit graph. Of course, we got it all out of kilter, so I'm going to go to zoom 6 and zoom 9. No, 0. And there she is. Now that's fine with me, but they want you to see the saddle for hidden behavior. So I'm going to do zoom box. And I'm going to put as long as you get the x-intercepts and the y-intercept and any vertexes, then you're okay. So I'm going to put it right there. Don't hold the key down. Right about there, maybe. And see, you can see there's some hidden behavior here. Now let's look at the window. I'm going to say -5, +5, -1,000 to 1,000. And graph. I mean, that's comprehensible. I think you got a vertex right here. Looks like the highest point right there. Further, so I would say this would probably be your very, very last window. So -5 to 5, -1,000 to 1,000. So let's see what choices they got for you. There's that -1,000 to 6,000. I would probably say that that's your best bet. So I'm going to hit D and hit check. Nope. Then I don't know which one they want. So I'm just going to hit it. And then you need to make a note of it. Okay, -3, 5, -10, 50. So let's go type that in and see what they want. -3, 5, -10, 50. -3, 5, -10. They want to see that vertex. So that's why I didn't -10 and 50. Yeah, that's what they want. They want to see that vertex. So I should have kept on going inward. So you need to make a note that if you see one of these questions like this, like that right there, you might want to make a note at the small window that they're making for themselves. But it makes the flat vertex look like a saddle. So that's another test question. I mean, that's another calculator question. We almost through with the test, y'all. A 0 has been placed and you're going to fail. There's another division. So 5 or 6 questions on this test is actual math or algebra. So let's do this one. This one says 3y squared. This one's got a missing term. 3y squared plus 0y to the first plus 1y to the 0 divided into y4, 3. Okay, we got a missing term there. We got the squared term missing. So 9y to the fourth plus 9y to the third plus 0y squared plus 3y to the first but minus 1y to the 0. And of course, the reason I put those in there is so you can see. I'm just trying to, you need to have 2, 1, 0. And here you need to have 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So all place values are there. We had to add 0y to the had to add 0y to the second to get it to work. Now, some people don't put in. Some people put spaces. Some people put a dash there. That's fine. You use whatever you want to. Here's the kite. There's the tail. How many times will 3y squared go into 3y to the fourth?
3y squared.
Good job. 3y squared times 3y squared is 9y to the fourth. 3y squared times 0y is 0y to the third. 3y squared times 1y to the 0 is 3y squared. You always subtract. That makes this a negative. Makes this a negative. Makes that a negative. This always goes out. 9y plus 0 is 9y to the third. 0 minus 3y is negative 3y squared. The 3y comes down to help out. How many times will 3y squared go into 9y to the third? I'm waiting for the communication.
They're 3y.
3y. Was that Mr. Vogt?
Yep.
You awake?
Barely.
3y, that's 9y to the third plus 0y squared plus 3y to the first. You always subtract. And that's going to be knocked out. -3 y squared. 3 minus 3 is 0y. And the -1y comes down to help out. 1y to the 0. And how many times, careful here, how many times will 3y squared go into -3y squared?
-1.
-1. And 1 times -1 times 3y squared is -3y squared. -1 times -0y to the first. And -1 times that is -1y to the 0. Always subtract. That's going to be a plus. That's going to be a plus. That's going to be a plus. That goes out. That goes out. And that goes out. So your answer is 3y squared plus 3y minus 1. And some of y'all have never been able to do long division. Which one is it? 3y, 3y, -1. Charlie? And 24. The polynomial blah, 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 blah measures the concentration of dye in the bloodstream X seconds after it's injected. Does the concentration increase between 9 and 10 seconds? Well, let's put it on the graph and see. I'll make it as big as I can. So y is equal to -0.006 x to the 4th plus 0.140 x to the 3rd minus 0.53 x squared minus 0.53 x squared plus 1.79x plus 1.79x. Now you can do this two ways. First of all, you need to graph it. And zoom standard. And zoom 0. I'm just going to zoom out because I want to see what it looks like. It's the 4th function, so that means that it's going same direction. See? That's what you want to see right there. Now, I'm going to zoom box in this area right here. So zoom box. And enter. Don't mash down the button. And enter. So you can do this two ways. You can either hit trace and find 9 and 10. X is equal to 9 and 10. So move to the right. So what's happening to Y as I go from 9 to 10? You ready? What's it doing?
Increasing.
Okay, you can do it that way. Or you can go to the window, or the table, second table, which is graph, and you can go to 9 and 10. I don't know why it's on 114. And what's happening from 9 to 10? At 9, you got 35, and at 10, you got what? 44. So it's increasing. Yes. Now, I'm not going to say that's math. That's just calculator. And the last question. If you miss a question, you scream and throw a temper tantrum. And submit test. And with 4 or 5 questions, look at that, we made 100. Now, I'm sorry, people. You need to make an A on this test. There's only 4 or 5 questions that you have to do algebra. Feel better about it now? Yeah, Hubert, I feel better. Good, class. Thank you for communicating. No, Hubert, I feel awful. Now, you ain't been paying attention. Let me take and let y'all get out of here because y'all got test tape. So let me get to Banner, and of course they probably kicked me out. Golly, what a surprise. So ridiculous. And this is 110. We turn off the recording.